The Kentucky sun beat down on Sarah's back as she hammered another plank onto the makeshift wall surrounding her sanctuary. The putrid stench of rotting corpses hung heavy in the air, a constant reminder of the apocalypse that had swallowed Muldrow whole. But Sarah was a survivor. Armed with a rusty hammer, a garden trowel, and an arsenal of improbably effective mods, she was determined to carve out a life amidst the undead chaos. Her little base, once a dilapidated farmhouse on the outskirts of town, was slowly transforming into a fortress. Thanks to the tower defense mod, she had blueprints for a variety of zombie-slaying structures. She had already constructed a flame tower that belched gouts of fire, incinerating any undead that dared approach. A boulder rolling tower periodically launched massive stones, crushing hordes with satisfying thuds. The Max Chaos mod, however, was a different beast entirely. It was supposed to add an element of unpredictable fun, but its definition of fun was flexible. One day it might summon a horde of zombified chickens, the next, it could randomly fling a car through the air, narrowly missing her precious watermelon patch. Sarah had learned to live with the constant anxiety, accepting the chaos as just another part of her daily routine. And then there was Bloon, her constant companion. Bloon wasn't just any balloon, he was a sentient, bright red, explosive balloon. Courtesy of the Bloons mod, he floated beside her, his painted smiley face bobbing with amusement as she worked. "Need some more nails, Sarah?" Bloon squeaked, his voice surprisingly deep for a balloon. Sarah wiped the sweat from her brow. "Yes, please, Bloon. And try not to drift too close to the flame tower." Bloon giggled, a disconcerting sound that always made Sarah jump, and wafted towards her workbench. He held the nails with some kind of mental power, and gave them to her. Her priorities for the day were clear: expand the potato patch, reinforce the walls, and finally, build a lightning tower. The farm was vital. It was her lifeline. With enough potatoes, she could make fries and live for months. As she tilled the soil, Max Chaos decided to spice things up. The ground began to tremble, and a guttural roar echoed through the air. "Oh, for the love of..." Sarah muttered, dropping her trowel. "What is it this time?" A colossal blimp, plastered with images of grinning zombies, lumbered into view. It was massive, dwarfing even the largest houses in town. Bloon, strangely silent, was now vibrating intensely. "That thing. It's full of ceramic balloons. Hundreds of them." Sarah's eyes widened. Ceramic balloons were notoriously tough. A single one could withstand several shotgun blasts. Hundreds. That was a recipe for disaster. "Flame tower, engage," she yelled, pointing towards the approaching behemoth. The flame tower roared to life, bathing the blimp in flames. But the ceramic balloons, protected by the blimp's thick hide, continued to drift down like deadly confetti. "Boulder rolling tower. Now!" Sarah screamed. The boulder rolling tower launched its payload, a massive stone tearing through the blimp's side. The blimp started to descend, trailing smoke and leaving a trail of ceramic balloons. "Bloon, do what you do best. Bloon, finally snapping out of his trance, unleashed a torrent of chaotic energy. He zipped around the loose ceramic balloons, detonating them in a series of earth-shattering explosions. The ground shook, the air filled with smoke, and the stench of burnt rubber permeated everything. Sarah watched in awe as Bloon, despite his valiant efforts, was slowly being overwhelmed. More and more ceramic balloons were slipping past. Even worse, the blimp was close to crashing directly onto her farm. She knew what she had to do. Grabbing a Molotov cocktail from her stash, she sprinted closer to the blimp. Bloon, distract them. I'm going for the engine. Bloon, battered and bruised, managed a weak giggle. You got it, Sarah. Blow 'em all away. He launched a final volley of explosive blasts, momentarily distracting the floating ceramic balloons. Sarah, using the distraction, hurled the Molotov cocktail into the blimp's exposed engine. The explosion was deafening. The blimp listed violently, then crashed into the woods, erupting in a final, fiery blaze. Sarah collapsed to the ground, coughing and covered in soot. Bloon, his red paint scorched and peeling, floated weakly beside her. We did it, he wheezed. Sarah managed a weak smile. We did. The next morning, after a long day of cleaning up the mess, Sarah stood surveying her sanctuary. The lightning tower, finally completed, crackled with barely contained energy. The farm was slightly scorched, but still viable. Bloon, patched up with duct tape, hovered proudly above her. She still had a long way to go before her little slice of apocalypse paradise was truly safe. More towers to build, more crops to plant, and more chaos to endure. But as the sun set over the ravaged landscape, Sarah knew she was ready. She had Bloon, her towers, and her unwavering determination. And that, she realized, was enough. For now.